Hey y'all, hope y'all having a good Saturday. I've missed y'all so much. I couldn't wait to come on here today. I hope y'all are doing so good. This has been a week, you guys. This has been a week. We've had Super Bowl, we've had Valentine's, we've had all types of different things. Lent, we've had Lent, and also I know something that's been weighing very heavy on me and my heart has been Lakewood Church, and the pastor and pastor's wife and everyone who was involved, because it's been awful, and they've really been going through a lot this week. So I want to encourage y'all to continue to keep, Pastor Joel and Victoria Osteen in your prayers, and cover him with love, and cover the church and pray for the church and the people, and especially that 5-year-old boy who got caught up in the crossfire. This isn't what this live is about, but I wanted to go into that because this week has been wild. And I know that me personally, hearing the news about what had happened at the church and hearing about the little 5-year-old boy, my heart just went out to that little boy. I don't want to, I don't really like talking about certain things because I feel like some people do it for clout, some people do it for gain, some people do it for, many wrong reasons. But I wanted to mention it because I think it's important that we continue to pray for those and, give back to those in a way who give to us. And the little boy that was caught in between the crossfire, it was just so sad. From what I understood, they were saying that the little boy was fighting his mother to get away, and and I just, in my heart, the other night I was laying there and I heard about it, and I kind of said, like, a simple prayer, as I heard it. And then about a couple nights ago, I just felt it so, I felt it so strong in my spirit, to really pray, to really truly earnestly pray. And so I did. And I just thought to myself, the fear of that little boy. And I thought, as a mother, and as, parents out there, or anyone with small children, loved ones, we do everything in our power to make sure they're safe. And I really was not coming on here to try to do this. I'm sorry, you guys, but I feel led to say it. We try everything we can in our power to keep them safe. No matter what, we try, and sometimes we don't always get it right. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes, things happen, but for the most part, we want to try to protect them and keep them safe. And I understand she had a mental illness and things like that, but me as a mother personally, when I heard that about that little boy, I just wanted to grab up my toddler and just hold him tight and hug him, once for him and twice for that little 5-year-old boy, and really just go deep into prayer. And when I was praying about it, the Lord is so good. He's so good for many different reasons. But he's so good. And when I was praying, I just thought to myself, out of all places this could have happened, it happened at Lakewood Church. And I know, for the most part, that is a terrible, terrible thing. But out of all churches it could have happened, it happened at Lakewood Church. And I thought to myself, as tragic as that was, you hear Pastor Joel get up every week and give these amazing, extraordinary testimonies on how God takes what the devil means for evil and turns it around for the good, turns it around to work for the good, turns it around to, where God gets glory, God gets honor in the end. And I thought about that little boy on that day, going in, being drugged into that church and put in that situation with all that fear and all that pain and, what he's going through now. And I said to myself, I thought to myself, like, God, I know there has to be a testimony coming from this one way or another, because God does not do anything by accident. And I'm so grateful and thankful too that, God was covering that sanctuary. God was covering his people. God was covering the pastors, keeping them all safe and everything. But, that poor little boy, as sad and tragic as it is, I know God has got something. He's doing something. This is gonna, one way or another, and I felt in my spirit too, like God wouldn't lay that in my spirit. God wouldn't tell me that for no reason either. So I want to encourage you guys to really, really pray for this little boy. I haven't heard anything recently about his updates or how he's doing, but again, I just felt it so strongly laid into my spirit to pray for him. And then pray for, Pastor Joel and Victoria Osteen and, all of them over there. And, you may feel and think a certain way, however you feel and think, but they are still, God's children. They're still God's children. I know a lot of people say that he's great, and a lot of people, there's a few people that may say that, they don't believe in his methods or whatever, but at the end of the day, he's God's. He's a child of God, and he's leading people to God. And me personally, I don't think there's anything, wrong with his teaching or anything. I enjoy his teaching. I enjoy, his pastoring, but that's besides the point. And to me personally, I think in this day and age, in this time period, in this time that we're living in, where literally there are hundreds of witches, there's hundreds of just witchcraft and witches and wizards, just proudly proclaiming that they are witches, or they do divination, or they do spell work, or they do all these different things that, once again, just like back in the day of Jesus, we are turning inward. And I feel like that is a complete distraction from Satan himself, to go amongst ourselves, the brethren, to fight amongst ourselves, or to, separate ourselves, or to say, well, it's this way, well, no, it's this way, and this is how you do this. We're just completely just going back and forth, piece by piece, just tearing each other apart. And I'm thinking there is a bigger fight going on out there. There is a war. There is a physical war, and there is a spiritual war. There's wars breaking out all over the world right now, physically and spiritually. Okay? It's, the Bible tells us that these are groans of the world. In the last days, these will be the groans of the world. So anyways, I pray that, y'all just continue to cover him and pray for him. I know he's a sports fan too, and it happened on Super Bowl Sunday, so I thought to myself, like, that just bless his heart, which I know that's besides the point, but I just thought, like, it's so sad to see, and he has such a big heart, such a cheerful heart, such a good spirit about himself. And when you have a big heart, you are moved in so many different ways. You are pulled in so many different ways. And when you have more, then you're pulled more in different ways. So I could just imagine, him with his family, his congregation, the news, the media, the surrounding town, the state, the child, the people involved. And I'm sure he probably felt frustrated and angry as well, as we would all feel that way about that happening. And, your place coming into your home, So, but he got up there and he was just, thank you. But he got up there and, he stood strong and, gave a statement and everything. And I really commend him for that, because he did that shortly after that situation had occurred. So, that's admirable. That's commendable. That's amazing that, he done that. And I'm sure that was hard for him to do. And a little bit of what I wanted to talk about was a little bit of that as well. Thank you, Joshua. And again, I don't want to talk about that for clout. I don't want to talk about that for gain. I don't want to talk about that, for any other perverse or, any weird way. I just honestly felt the Lord lay that in my spirit, and I wanted to talk about that. So I started to think about, a lot of God's leaders right now, a lot of God's people who he's, using in leadership, or he's used in leadership, and all the things that they are facing right now. And I mean, and here's the funny thing, you guys, not the funny thing, but the sad thing about it is that the people who are talking the most are God's people. The people who are talking the most about God's leaders are God's people. It ain't the witches. It ain't the wizards. It ain't the people doing spell work. It's God's very own people that are talking about God's leaders. In this day and age, and everything that we're going through right now, I mean, and every time I hear it, every time I see it, it makes me think of Jesus when he was, being rejected, being, just totally slandered by his own people, the people that he come to save, and they're just throwing stones at him and saying, crucify him, crucify him. And there's a murderer, standing right beside him. They say, well, which one do you want, Barnabas or Jesus? And they say, give us Jesus, give us Jesus. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we are living in a day and age right now where there is so much evil in this world. There is so much corruption in this world. And it's just ironic to me how the leaders that are being condemned the most are carrying so many people. You know what I'm saying? And I had to pray about that as well, which we know our word, and we know that where much is given, much is required. And the more you have, the more you have. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about today.